Okay, so welcome back to the course Introduction to Capella. In this phase, we're going to decompose the prime items that we've been working on, we put together in the last phase. And we basically are going to have two different types of prime items, one called a hardware configuration item and the other one called a software configuration item. When we go through that, we're going to basically decompose those into different pieces. And those can be, again, broken down even more detail into COTS and NDIs, non-deliverable items. So this is what the section is that we're going to do now. So we're going to do this decomposing. And then we will follow with linking as we did before. So we're going to start the process. We're going to decompose the telemetry in the GPS unit, and then we're going to decompose the operator base station. So switching back to the model that we used from before, you'll see that I have those two units here. Here's the telemetry, and here's the GPS. Likewise to what we did previously, I'm going to split the screen and take a look at the physical architecture so we can kind of get the breakdown correctly. So I'm going to put that over here on the side so we can kind of get a view of it. Opening back up that EAB for the authoring mode. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to see that, okay, we have this telemetry PCBA board. Now this is going to be a different PCBA board than we had before, and this is going to be, again, a hardware configuration item. So I'm going to put that in here, and I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to just call it GPS PCBA board. And then on that board, we're going to have, is going to be this Arduino 101. Now that object there is going to be something that we're going to buy. So it's going to be a commercial off the shelf. So I won't be adding that right now because it's basically a purchased item. But with this comes pieces that aren't purchased items, such as here's the GPS unit. So there's the GPS receiver. So we're going to have that. Now that's going to be a part. So I'm not going to define that as configuration item. So this is going to be a part. The Arduino 101 is going to be here. We're actually not going to be using the photon particle because we can replace all the functionality with it, but I've left that in because that's part of the original design. This is really the difference between what we were doing with physical architecture and what we've been doing previously. We can actually have a physical architecture that has more than what you would actually put in the actual system that you would actually deliver. And that's why it's important to do this product breakdown structure and having a view of the system like that. Other things that we see in here is we see an IMU. Again, that's part of this Arduino 101, so we don't need to worry about that. There's the LoRa unit for communications, the low power communication. There is an antenna here. So there's an antenna, and notice that it's outside of the box. So what we're going to do is I am going to add then in that antenna into there, into the hardware configuration item. I'm going to put antenna. It's just going to say LORA antenna. Okay, so we have that. So that basically covers everything that's going to be new in this, and then this will get broken down and assigned further. Let's finish up the operator base station. So the operator base station is going to have a photon particle, and that photon particle is going to have this LoRa unit. So because of that, I'm going to actually want to have some type of contagion thing that would hold that together. So I'm thinking, again, maybe we have to introduce this idea of a PCBA board. Notice I didn't add it here, and because I didn't have it before. So let's go ahead and add that into here. So we're actually going to make a modification to the physical architecture, which, not surprisingly sometimes happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put move this over, and put that on there. Now we could do this as two separate boards. Since this is a separate board, but for just basically quality's sake and with wiring and stuff, it would be easier to do it this way and make for actually a better design, much more rugged. So we're going to call this operator base. Okay, and then we're going to basically go down here and make this all the way down to that size. And We're going to move that into that box. Okay, so we got it inside the box. So now you're seeing that I've got this PCBA board that is going to include this prime item called PCBA, and now it's going to be populated with a photon particle, which will be an off-the-shelf item that goes inside of that for it. So we're going to basically do that. Now the other thing, so I'm going to add in here then configuration item, hardware configuration item. We're going to call it base PCBA, and then it's going to, of course, get populated. Now, one of the things that we have to think of is software. So now both of these items have software that's related to it. So this is a software component in here, and this behavior contains the functionality that's mainly software. This is also going to have a set of software. So what we can do for this then, and we can indicate that software exists as a software configuration item, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put that software on the base station, because you can actually add the hardware without the software, and you can add the software to the base station. So I'm going to actually put it on here as a CS. So I'm going to put here, and I'm going to put this one here also, and we're just going to call this GPS telemetry SW, and we're going to call this one here base station software. Okay, so that's the breakdown of that. So now we're going to go over to the other side and basically do the assignment to the CIBD. But I'm going to do it, since I showed that we could do it two different ways, I'm going to basically do the assignment for this guy by doing it in the browser here. So here's the item for that. There's the operator item right there. And as I said before, this item, I can go click on this object here and launch the link, and I can see what's the realized physical architecture from there. So I'm going to basically do that. So I'm going to click on this again, and that's the GPS PCBA board. So for that one, we're going to go over, and we have a new object for it. There it is. There's the GPS antenna. No, not that one. Telemetry. I'm not seeing it. So let's go clear it here. Which one is it? Telemetry PCBA. So we are going to go do that. Okay, so there we go. We're going to add that. Good enough. And that's done. And so you can see it's been added into there. And then we're going to add in the LoRa hardware. That's the antenna. And you can do that again through the Project Explorer. There's the LoRa antenna. Here's the LoRa antenna object here. It gives me the type for it. Yep, there's the transceiver. And we can also have this connection for it, this interface. So I'm going to add that in here. See what that looks like. Now, that interface, I'm not too sure if I want that in there. I think the interface I want out. So let's just take that interface out of there. The interface probably should be with the item above it. So part of the, there we go. And we can actually add that interface to this guy here. Yep, there we go. And then we have this GPS software. So let's go get the software portion of it. And we got the software over here. And we can find the software for the GPS. There we go. Behaviors for it. Okay, so that's that one. And then now we're going to go to the next one, where is the operator base station. Now with the operator base station, we're going to do the same thing, Project Explorer. And we're going to add the hardware configuration for it to that. Here's the PCB for it. Finish. And here's the base station software. I'm going to basically go here to get that one. There we are. Finished it. Okay, so now after getting that done, I'm going to go over back to the CIBD diagram. I'm going to close this window out here. You'll see that I've got these new hardware configuration items. I can just move them around. They've already been created. And I can make sure that they kind of look a little better. Here's the prime and the base station for it. And get an idea of those things. So there's the prime, and I can start showing the breakdown of components here. Okay, so give you an idea of how that's broken down. Anything else we miss? Operator base station. Oh yeah, I have the antenna for this guy. So we're going to have to bring the antenna in for it. So you get, I'm going to have to go and look back in the EAB, or transceiver. What's this one called? It's just antenna. So we're going to change the name. Base antenna, so I can find it. There we go. Base antenna. Good. Okay, very good. And we go back to the CIBD structure, and we'll see the new base antennas there too. Okay, so kind of got that one done. So that kind of completes the modifications for this section.